Alex Revell, the start of a new season. Just how excited are you?
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. We've worked really hard. So the last 6 weeks of it's been real hard work here in terms of what the players have put in. So we're all ultimately aiming to get to this point, and no injuries, fitter than we were when we started. And hopefully with a real clear plan of how we've improved, hopefully since the end of last season. So it's good to be sitting here now, looking forward to it. Everybody's excited in terms of up here, and it's getting closer. But listen, we know we've got a job to do, and we know that to start at home is a really good time. So we're really looking forward to it.
I mean, let's just break it down to you. How are you feeling? Because it's a big season for you. You've come back into the chair, but you must be really excited to show just how much you've grown as an individual and as a coach and a manager.
Yeah, it is a big season, but ultimately, we get to this point on Saturday from the hard work we've done. So what we've tried to do is make sure that every day we're delivering sessions and the gym and things to make sure that we ultimately can deliver on Saturday. So the whole season isn't gonna depend on what we do on Saturday, but we ultimately know that the importance of getting a good start, not only for us as a team, obviously for us as a staff as well, because we are a new staff and people will be looking because of the success that we've had over the past 2.5 years. So, but for me personally, what learning from the last time is that you have to be really level, and I think I have to be really level as a person, because before I probably was too up and down at times, with a loss and take it to hard wins, and ultimately the players just need you to be level and stay calm, and ultimately it's one game in a whole season, and that's probably the biggest thing for me. Is just I'm really looking forward to this year, because ultimately I've been waiting for a long time to do it. I've been waiting and learning and listening and going to different courses and things to then all of a sudden have my opportunity. And the players have really taken it on board, and they've been fantastic towards myself and all the staff. So we know we're in a good place, and all we can do is make sure that we work really hard in terms of giving the players everything we have, but also making sure that we stick to what's got us our success over the past 2.5 years. So I am really excited. Obviously I am, because it's another new season. But obviously, I also know that there will be challenges at times, and it's how I face them. And I think that's probably going to be the biggest thing for me. But, we all know that's part of the job.
You touched on the good starts and having a good start. That's sort of been a key factor in the last 2 seasons. A great start in the league, winning in the Carabao Cup. It's going to be a tough ask, but it'll really set a marker down for the year ahead.
Absolutely. Well, everybody will be saying it right now. Every team will be saying we need a good start. But there are no givens at all anymore in this league. In any leagues actually. So we know we have to be at our best to beat anyone. That's what we have to be. So we said it last year that the start was really important. We got a really good start, which set us up for the whole season. And the year we got promoted, we had a fantastic start. After 10 games, I don't think we lost at home. I think we hadn't lost at home. We'd won every game at home. So we know that it's important to what kind of you can give them for the rest of the season and what your outcomes are. The start is that important. So we know we've got to do it. We know we've got to, go out there and show our intent from the very word go. But that would be no different if it was the previous manager still sitting here. It'd still be the same. So we don't want to change that too much. We do understand the importance of it, and like I say, all you can do is make sure winning doesn't just happen. Winning's because of all the hard work that you put in over the last six weeks and before, when they're off on holiday, the work that they're doing. So, and the guys are ready for sure. We're ready, and like I say, we're all looking forward to it, and hopefully getting a really positive start.
You've just said you're ready. That was actually going to be the next question. I mean, I know what the usual question at this time of year is: what's your aims? Where you're going to go? I know what the answer is to that, so I'm not going to ask. I also know the answer to this one, and you've just said it. But what makes you think you are ready? What have you seen out there that makes you think we're bang on for this?
Well, it's the hard work they've put in for sure. I mean, everybody's working hard. It's pre-season. That's naturally what it is. You know, we've really pushed them in training. I'm seeing real intensity in their work, and we've improved that, and it's got better and quicker, and you know, less turnovers in terms of how many times we turn the ball over, what we do with it, all those little things that we've said from the word go when we first got the job was that we wanted to improve on. They're the little moments that we've worked really hard for in this pre-season. I've seen in games, I've looked at games, and I've said it all along that games are here to learn from. You know, if we didn't have the opportunity to learn from the Coventry game when there were certain aspects of that game that we needed to improve on, then we're not the right people, because they're there for a reason, like to learn from them. And I think that now I've seen that reaction from the last two games. We had a really fantastic weekend to finish off our pre-season, and both teams that day showed that we're in a good place in terms of fitness levels, but also just little moments, just in terms of, you know, what we do with the ball and chances. We've created a lot of chances throughout this whole pre-season. Yes, we've got to keep taking. I've always said it's the hardest thing to do, so we'll keep encouraging people to do that and keep working on it. But I feel we've created a lot of chances in these games, which is good. And just really seeing players coming out of themselves and showing what they can do. I think that's the biggest thing we've seen. Certain players have come out and put in some really top performances this pre-season that might not have expected to be doing that. So it's made our job really tough to put the team and pick the team for Saturday. But that's what we want. We want competition here, and I think that's also a reason why I know we're ready, because of the competition that we've brought in here. Because everybody has to perform every day, otherwise you don't play. Gives you headaches though, picking a team for Saturday. Absolutely, but it's the way it should be. You want that. We want competition. It's what makes us. It's what's made us the team that we are to this point now. You know, if you went back to the year we got promoted, different games, there was fullbacks were changing every game. Midfielder was a change, and there might be a striker a change, and it just kept everybody fresh, kept everybody thinking that they still had to perform. They had to perform every day in training. They had to perform every week in the team, and that's the way that I think that another thing that I've learned for sure, that you need competition. It might give you a headache. It might give you problems in terms of players expecting to play, but I just think, as always, if you're honest and you tell them that the situation is, you're all here to play. We're here to push each other on. We all want the same thing. We all want one goal. And the harder we can work together and push each other, the more chance we have of succeeding in everything that we want to achieve. So might give us a headache, but it's a good headache to have. When it comes to choosing a team and a style for the opening day of the season, I mean, how much do you know of Shrewsbury? Obviously, you saw them last year. But have you had a chance to? Do you look at them in pre-season? Do you think, well, what are they doing? Can you take anything from their pre-season? It's always difficult. I've known Hursty for a long time, and his teams are always, competitive. They're always, hard working. They want to play. They do want to play. So we've seen 3 or 4 games now. We've had people at 3 or 4 games to watch, but it's always difficult because it's always the unknown. We're the same. We've changed shapes, we've changed personnel, and it's about getting minutes a lot of the time. So it's always difficult this first 5 games, because you just don't know about teams in terms of what they're going to play. But they'll be similar to us. They'll be desperate to get a good start. And ultimately, in football, it could be decided with a set play. It could be decided with an own goal. It could be decided by a mistake. You don't know, but all you can do is prepare your team for how you want to see them play. And ultimately, we can give information that we feel might help them. But ultimately, when we send them onto the pitch, they need to be ready to go and deliver a performance that's a Stevenage FC performance. Simple as that. In terms of squads, you've mentioned the fact you've come through fairly unscathed with injuries. We know Aaron Presley's rehabbing from an injury. Jake Forster-Caskey's going to be out for a few months. Jamie Reid and T. Ashby Hammond are the ones that are perhaps short term. What's the latest on them? Yeah, Jamie Reid won't be ready for the game, and we're hoping that Tay will be. With Jamie, it's just a waiting game. We're building him up, and he's doing now. He's out with the lads and he's working hard. which is great to see, and he's in a good place there. So we're just building him up. He's missed a lot of training and weeks, so we'll make sure that he's ready to go when he's fit and back to where we know he can be. And Tay has obviously had a little knock, and obviously we haven't seen enough of Tay in pre-season because unfortunately, his injury that he suffered. But he's coming back, so hopefully he'll be back, soon. Whether that's Saturday or not, we'll have to see. But in terms of other injuries, we're looking good, which is fantastic because ultimately, you don't want to get injuries in pre-season. I think we've seen quite a lot of teams this year with injuries from pre-season, maybe games. I'm not sure what it is, but we couldn't have really helped the Aaron Presley injury because it was a coming together. It was a headed landed horribly, but that's an unfortunate one for us. But we're in a good place, and ultimately, again, it goes back to competition and the squad. You are going to pick up injuries, and for me, it's how you deal with it. You either you feel sorry for yourself and mope, or do you know what? There's someone else that goes in and does the job, and then if they go in there and do a good job, they stay in there. Then it's the job of the injured player to get in the team. So I always think that when you have a squad like ours and a squad that we've built, when you get that competition, there's someone ready. They all know the roles, they all know responsibilities, they all know what it takes to play in this team. So someone else has to step up, and that's the way I see injuries. Yes, they're disappointing because we want to see all of our players playing, but there's someone else ready to go and to take the opportunity.
Well, someone else who is in the building this time since I last spoke to you is Charlie Good. You mentioned when I spoke to you on Friday about character of a new signing. You mentioned when he signed his character. Tell us about his character. What makes him a perfect person to be at Stevenage Football Club?
Well, when you look at him, he's a man. He's a 28-year-old. He's 6'4", 5". He's got a great personality in terms of he walked in and first thing he was just introducing himself. Just simple, the front-footed, but also he understands what we are as a club. I sat with him for a long time and told him what we are as a club, and I think for him, the last time he had success was, I wouldn't say a dissimilar club to us in terms of when he was with Keith at Northampton. They got promoted, and he got all his success through playing a certain style of football, and we need to bring that back to him because he's a top talent. He's a top player. And we've always said character. So when they balance and they go together, we know that they're the right choice for us. We threw every single fitness test at him, and he accepted everything and he took it on. And he's been a pleasure to work with in terms of getting him in because he's got a lot to prove. And I always think about a lot of our players. We've all have stuff to prove, and sometimes you've got people that naturally just love doing it. We've got Carl Piajan, he never got told wouldn't play in League Two, gets Player of the Season in the Team of the Year last year, probably can never play in League One, should have been in Team of the Year last year. Dan Sweeney, not gone up. We've got so many people that, always have something to prove. It's always nice to have something there. And he's definitely someone that he's had, we know he's had a few injuries. There's reasons for that, we believe. And now he's kind of back on track, and he's trained fantastically well, trained every day with us for the last week or so, since obviously before we signed him, he was here. So we're really looking forward to working with him, and he'll be a huge part of what we do this year.
If there was a criticism perhaps last year, or a grumble at least, it was that there was too many draws at home. That's obviously something I think you'll want to put right this year, get more W's in that column.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we don't want to play for a draw. We want to play to win. Our mantra, our identity here is play to win. We've had real success here for a long time now. And that year when we got promoted, again, we started the season. We didn't lose at home for the first 10. That set the tone, and then without doubt that got us promoted that season. And we have to make our house, our home, a fortress at home. Because we know that when we do that and we get our backing from everybody around the ground, and then it's a really tough place to come. It's a really tough place to come, but we also have to deliver a performance to get those people with us and make sure that we stay front-footed, that we're attacking, we're intense with what we try to do. There will be balance in the game. Obviously, opponents and come here, they want to win the game as well. But we know that if we start bright and we start front-footed like the way we can, then it will be a really fantastic atmosphere at home. And like you say, turn those draws into wins.
And you've mentioned the atmosphere, just to finish on, obviously playing at home in front of the crowd, in front of the fans, a real chance to go and show them, because they're the most important ones, chance to go and show them just what this new Stevenage is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I've said it all along that, the new Stevenage still has to have some representation of what we're all about. Of course it does, our identity for the last 2.5 years, but hopefully they can see the slight changes that we're trying to make, that's what we're trying to do. Because anyone coming in here and trying to say, right, this is not how we go, would be silly, and it wouldn't suit what we are as a club. We want to make sure that we remain as our identity, the way we play. We play it, we have a certain way that we do it. But then what can we do now when we have the ball? What can we do now that's different to what we did before? And we worked really hard this summer to make sure that we bring in the types that we think fit, but also in terms of every day on the training ground, making sure we're better at the things that we could have improved on last year. And I think we're still, listen, it's a work in progress. Of course, it's still relatively new, but and I think we've seen signs of that, and long may that continue. And what we do hope is that we take the form that we've shown in pre-season into our league form, because if we do that, I really feel we'll have a really good start.